Anyways, welcome to the mock discussion of 13th mock. I think the overall paper was pretty good. It had mixture of easy questions and moderate questions, and also difficult questions. I guess there was one question which I felt was not even needed in this paper because in no case I would see that kind of question coming up in the examination or the weird calculation altogether. But apart from that, if you look at it, this had a very good mix of easy and moderate questions. At the same time, the best part is by now, I'm sure we are writing 13th mock, or maybe some of you are writing your 10th mock or 11th mock. So you need to understand by now that a strategy should have been clear, that you also start from the back, because in this mock also it's seen that the questions in the end are easy questions. So maybe the examiner is, expecting you to go back in the end and also see that you're going through all the questions and you're not leaving any question left. And it has been seen in CAT also that, sometimes when they jumble the questions, sometimes the questions come with the easy questions come in the end. So I'm not going from the end and the beginning, but yeah, let's start from the first question and see how do we attempt the question in the examination and how do we approach that. Okay. So if you look at the first question, whether I should be attempting this or not is the decision that we'll have to take immediately, right? So how many ordered pairs of integers x and y? So the key words here are integers x and y. Clear? Satisfy the inequality x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square less than or equal to 4. I will definitely go for this question because of the word called integers. Because when the question says that the numbers are integers, you need to understand that x plus 2 becomes a integer here. So x plus 2 whole square becomes an integer. Clear? Similarly, I'm talking about y minus 3 whole square also becomes an integer. So integer square and integer square, that means I'm looking at the sum of two perfect squares is less than equal to 4. And the best part is the question is not asking me the values of x and y, whereas we just need to know how many values of x and y are possible. So if you pick up a small trick or if you pick up a small trend, I think the job is going to be pretty easy. So our job is to pick up the trend and extrapolate it to all the numbers, right? So let's look at this. So perfect square plus perfect square is less than equal to 4. So I know perfect squares are going to be either 0 or 1 or 4. I am looking at combination of these numbers only. Okay. So 0, 1 is possible. Clear? So 0, 0 is possible. 0, 0 is possible. So how many values of x and y are possible? This is the only point you have to understand. If x plus 2 is equal to 0, there is only one value of x which is possible. And if x plus y is equal to 0, again, there's only one value of y which is possible. So therefore, that one value of x is going to be what here? This is minus 2. And that one value of y is going to be 3. So the number of cases here are going to be only 1. I repeat, I'm not interested in finding out what is minus 2 and minus 3. I'm interested in finding out how many values are there. Clear? So with 0, this can be 1. With 0, this can be 4. Now, this is where we extrapolate. So if 0, there's only one value of x. But if you look at the value of y, when the value of y is a non-zero number or x is a non-zero number, if y minus 3 whole square is equal to 1, we need to understand that y minus 3 can be equal to plus 1 or y minus 3 can be equal to minus 1. So if y minus 3 is equal to plus 1, then the value of y becomes 4. And if y minus 3 is equal to minus 1, then I get the value of y is equal to 2. So if the value of x or y is a non-negative integer or a positive number, you need to understand you'll have two values of each of them. So if the value of y is 1, so with 2, I'm just writing it for your understanding, you'll have two values of y, which means we'll have two cases. From here, your job is not to calculate. Again, 0, 4, you'll have one case here and you'll have two cases here. So you'll have two possibilities, right? Now I go back with 1, I've exhausted 0 with x, okay? I'm going back with 1. With 1, I can have 1, 0. I cannot have 1 and 4. Again, with 1 here, x will have two values and y will have only one value. This time the diagram would be something like this. Y is equal to 3 and x will have two values. Okay, so this gives me 2. Now, next case that I look at it is the value that I'm looking at it is 1, 4 is not accepted. 1, 1 is acceptable. Now, this is the most beautiful part. If 1 is acceptable, x will have two values and y will also have two values. So this will have two values here and this will also have two values here. So with 1, 1, how many cases do we have? We have four cases. And the last one is x can be 4 and y can be 0. And if x is 4 and y is 0, again, this will have only two cases. So if you're good enough in picking up this trend, I think the job becomes pretty easy. So we look at 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 4, 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 4 is 12, 12 plus 1 is 13. So 13 becomes your answer. And I should not be taking more than 2 or a maximum of 2.5 minutes, because it is a good question for you to convert. The options are in your favor. The options are not very close. The options are far apart. Right. So that should help me to make a decision that, I'm entering into this question and I'm ensuring that I'm converting my answer. Right. Now let's look at the second question. A very interesting question. If you would, if we have seen a similar question in the class, okay, but the only thing is it has been slightly modified to that. So what is that we are looking at? An HR manager analyzes the salaries of 12 persons in a company and concludes that the mean of the lowest 11 salaries. So in your classroom examination, in the classroom paper, you remember we had seen this question on 7 days of the week, the sum of first six, the sum of last six. This is on that only. Okay, you have 12 people here. Let's say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K. The sum of first 11 given to me is 11 into 15,000. And the last 11. So I'm assuming that I'm writing them on in ascending order. Okay. F plus G plus H plus I plus J plus K plus L given to me is 11 into 16,000. So if you remember, we had seen this in the class that, this whole part can be cancelled. So if I subtract both the equations, what do I get? I get L minus A is equal to, you have 16,000 into 11 minus 15,000 into 11. That will be 1,000 into 11, right? So 1,000 into 11 will give you how much? 11,000. No, I'm asked, the question statement is very important. For the entire group of 12 people, what is the difference between the maximum and minimum possible means? Which means the question is asking, okay, what can be the maximum possible average of all the 12 people? And what can be the minimum possible average of all the 12 people? So we can look at one of the cases here, guys. We can look at a case called, yeah, we can look at this as 11 into 16,000. That is 1,76,000. Can I say plus A will be the sum total of all the 12 people? Right. Now, this will be maximum when A is maximum. This will be minimum when A is minimum. Okay. So we are looking at the question statement is asking us 1,76,000 minus A, sorry, plus A maximum by 12 minus 1,76,000 plus A minimum by 12. Or in short, if you observe very clearly, it is A max minus A min by 12. Okay. Now, when I look at A max, what is happening here? We can look at this concept of average as an equal distribution. I repeat, I am writing them in ascending order. If I'm writing them in ascending order, I can say that the minimum possible value. See, there are two cases here. Either I know that all of them are different, but the question did not tell you that the salaries are different. Right. Or the worst possible case I can see is all of them have same 15,000, 15,000, 15,000 each. If all the people have 15,000 each, that means I know that these 11 people have similar salaries. Right. So can I say the maximum value of A can be is 15,000 rupees here. So maximum value of A can be is 15,000. Clear? Right. So maximum value of A can be 15,000. That is a very simple understanding here. Now, second, what is the minimum possible value of A? Now, understand, guys, if I'm looking at this case, right? If I'm looking at this case, can I say that the value of L can be a minimum of 16,000? Again, I repeat, minimum of 16,000, because L is the largest guy. If L is the largest guy, he can go a lot more, and I can give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to these guys. Right? So if L is the largest guy, so I can say the minimum value of L is equal to 16,000. Clear? 16,000 minus what will give you 11,000. So I can say that the minimum value of A here is going to be 5,000. So therefore, A minimum will be 5,000, A maximum will be 15,000 divided by 12. We get 1,000 divided by 12. We can write this as 50 by 6. Clear? So 5 by 6 is 83.33%. So that is 833. So this is 500, right? Yeah, 500 by 6. So that's 833.33333 should be your value. And the question is nearest to 10, therefore 830 becomes your answer. So I repeat, you can use average as an equal distribution. I'm assuming A, B, C, D, E, F are the lowest 11. If it is lowest 11, then you can always look at it as that the maximum possible value of A can be 15,000. It cannot be more than 15,000. And that is only possible when all of them are 15,000 people. Clear? Similarly, the minimum value of A will be when the value of L is minimum, which will be 16,000, and accordingly we can get our answer, right? So that becomes this question. Now, this question is a very interesting question, guys. It says a dishonest and particular negotiating dealer purchases go from his wholesaler at 50% discount at a cost price of X, and also cheats by getting 50% extra quantity by using false weights. Now, X is not very important here because the question is asking you profit percentage, right? Besides, he cheats his customer by this, right? Yeah. So I think what is the profit percentage is the question which is missing from you. Yeah. So let's see this. So if I'm looking at this question, then the markup is so and so, so and so, so and so. So let me assume that the quantity he is buying is 10 kgs, and CP of 1 kg is equal to 10 rupees. So what is he doing? He is actually buying CP of 15 because he's getting 50% extra through false weighing, and he gets a negotiation at a discount. Clear? So I repeat, to the shopkeeper, he has ordered 10. So the shopkeeper has given him 10 kgs after negotiating for 5 rupees per kg, right? He has got 5 extra kgs by false weight. So therefore, he'll only pay for 10 kgs and the cost will be 5 per kg. So his actual cost price is going to be 50 rupees. Now he has bought 15 kgs here. If I want to sell 15 kgs by weighing 50% less, that means only if the customer ordered 30 kgs, I will give him 50% less, which means I will give him 15 kgs. Okay. And what did he do? He marked up by 80%. So markup of 1 kg is equal to 18 rupees. And then he gave a discount. So selling price of 1 kg becomes 3 by 4 of 18. Okay. So since the customer has ordered 30 kgs, clear? That means the selling price that he would get will be 3 by 4 of 18 is the selling price of each into 30 will be the selling price of 30 kgs. So 2 2s and 2 15s and 2 1s and 2 9s. So this becomes how much, guys? 9 3s are 27 and 27 into 15. So 27 into 10 plus 5. That is 270 plus 135. My final value becomes 405. So we got a selling price of 405 and we got a cost price of 50. So I know that my multiplying factor minus 1 into 100 becomes the profit percentage. So that is 405 by 50 minus 1 can be written as 50 by 50 into 100. So the value becomes 355 by 50 into 100. 51s and 52. So therefore your actual value here becomes 710% is going to be the profit percentage in the whole transaction. Right, guys? So it's an easy question. I think you should have taken approximately like what 2 minutes again for this question. So I think question number 1 and question number 3 were doable. Question number 2 you could have ignored because maximum minimum. Sometimes we get stuck. So I would always advise you to, if you're not sure of that question, you could have left it. You could have moved to question number 3. So question number 1 and question number 3 are worth doing, guys. Okay. This cannot be left. Circular tracks, very easy question. Only thing that you need is calculation. So there is a smaller circle and there is a larger circle. And both of them are intersecting at the joining point. Okay. The smaller circle has a radius of 50 meters radius, and this circle has a radius of 60 meters. Aman is running here at a speed of 20 kmph. This is a discrepancy here. And the Dimple is running here at 36 kmph. Now, when will they meet? How many rounds will Dimple make before she meets Aman for the first time? That means they're meeting at starting point only. Both of them running on are running on this separate or individual respective circular tracks. So when they're running around the track, I need to know the circumference of the circle. So circumference of the circle or the length of the track in this case is 2 pi r, that is 100 pi. And in this case, it is 2 pi r, that is 120 pi. And we know the time taken to meet at the starting point will be LCM of time taken by A, comma time taken by D to meet at the starting point for the first time. Okay. So time taken by A would be 100 pi is the distance divided by speed. Now, what is the speed here, guys? The speed that we are looking at is kilometers per hour, that is 20 kilometers per hour, in meters per second is 5 by 18. Similarly, the time taken by D to cover one round is 120 divided by 36 into 5 by 18. So if we simplify, this is 21s and 25s, 5 and 5. So 18 pi seconds is the time taken by Aman to complete one round. This can be written as simplify. This is 18 ones and 18 twos, 10s cancel. So 12 pi is the time taken by Dimple to cover one round. And in how many seconds will they meet? So they are going to meet after LCM of this. So therefore, they are going to meet after 36 pi seconds. Clear? Time taken to meet. Yes, 36 pi seconds. Now, when will they meet for the first time? So if one, and how many rounds is Dimple covering? In 36 pi seconds, how many rounds will Dimple cover? So to cover one round, Dimple takes 12 pi. So to complete 30 to in 36 pi seconds, the number of rounds covered by Dimple would be 3, and that becomes your answer. So 3 is an answer. Very simple question. Third question to be converted. Even if you're taking around 2 minutes for this question, I think it's justified enough a time for you to look at 2 minutes per question. So I think by now you should have been 6 minutes down, and you should have been nine marks down, or you can also afford to go till 7 minutes and 9 marks, which is a good conversion rate, guys. Not a bad conversion rate at all. Now again, I have always been saying logs, easy question of logs. Okay, log 10 factorial. This is not applicable to batches 6 and 7, but yeah, rest all the batches can be looking at it. I can factorize log 10 factorial. Well, how can you factorize a log 10 factorial? Highest power of 2 in 10 factorial, right? That is 2 5s are, 2 3s are, and 2 1s are. Right? So if I look at it this way, so highest power becomes 5 plus 3 plus 1, that is 2 to the power 9. I can write this as log as 2 to the power 9. Similarly, if I quickly calculate for 3, this is 3 3s are, 3 1s are, that is 3 to the power 4. 5 I get 2s, and 7 I get 1. So if I simplify this, this becomes 9 log 2 plus 4 log 3 plus 2 log 5 plus 1 log 7. So, log 2 is equal to m. So, we have 9m plus 4a plus 2 log 5 will come back to it, and this is n. What is log 5? Log 5, if I'm not given, I can always write this as log of 10 divided by 2, which can be further written as 2 times of log 10 base 10, which will be 1, minus log 2 base 10. Right? So 10 base 10 will be 1, minus 2 base 10 will be m. So 1 minus m into 2. Right? So your final value here becomes 9m plus 4a plus 2. Just one second, guys. I guess did we go wrong somewhere? Minus 2m. I guess this is okay. 2 2s are, my bad. This is 2 2s are. So this is 8. Okay. Because that's what the value of m was not matching. Yeah. Minus 2m, and you have plus n. So you have 8m minus 2m, that will give you 6m plus 4a plus n plus 2 becomes your answer, and 6m plus 4a plus n plus 2 will be your option D. So I guess batches 1 to 5 again worth a question to convert. So I think this should have been your fourth question to convert from the chapters that we have seen. I've asked all of you to go through the basic properties of modulus, and there's a lovely question of modulus plus numbers altogether. So do look at this question also as a short question to answer. Clear? Now, very interesting question here was square and circles has always been age-old questions in CAT, right? So in the given figure, we have PQ is 1 unit. Okay, I'll just change the ink of the pen here. Okay. So the square is of 1 unit. So I know that this part is going to be half, but that's not important to us. I'm majorly looking at the radius of circle D. So it's something like this. If I draw a diagonal here, this will go through the center of both the circles. So first of all, I need to know the diagonal part, okay? And then I'll calculate this part. Let's say I'm terming this as C only, okay? So I know that the value CQ, okay? Now CQ will be nothing but the diagonal of a square, that is root 2 into 1. And therefore the value of CQ will be, the diagonal is diameter, root 2 into 1 divided by 2. Clear guys? And I'm mentioning this point as, let's say, E. So I'm further breaking this as CQ, okay, is equal to CE plus EQ. So I know that CE is the radius of the circle, and the radius of the circle is half unit. So I know that EQ, first of all, will be root 2 minus 1 by, clear? Because that will be, I'm subtracting that part here. Now, what is EQ? The circle is, the center of the circle is D. Okay, so I'm just drawing this part for you. It's something like this, okay? So this is the corner called Q, okay? And there is a circle like this. Ignore the circle, but turned out to be decent circle, okay? And this is the center called D. And let's say this is the point which is E, and this is the diagonal of the square. Now remember one thing, guys. The diagonal of the square, that means this angle is going to be which angle? This angle is going to be 45 degrees. And when I drop this line, so the point of tangency, or when I drop a perpendicular to the base, this is 90 degrees. And this is also 45 degrees. Clear? So if I take this part as A, which is what we are supposed to calculate, okay, the radius of D. So we are supposed to calculate A, okay. If this part is A, can I say even this part is equal to A, because that is the radius of the circle? If this part is A, now I know this is 45, 45, 90. So this part is also A. Now this complete part DQ is going to be root 2A. Okay, guys. So DQ is going to be root 2A. So DQ is going to be root 2A here, guys. So if DQ is going to be root 2A, eventually what is going to be, what is going to happen here? Finally, we look at EQ is equal to A plus root 2A, which is equal to, you have root 2 minus 1 by 2. So if I take A common, this becomes 1 plus root 2 is equal to root 2 minus 1 by 2. Or the value of A is equal to root 2 minus 1 by 2 into root 2 plus 1. If I rationalize my denominator, I multiply the numerator and denominator with root 2 minus 1. So what will happen to the denominator? The denominator will become root 2 square is 2, minus 1 will be 1. So 2 into 1 is my denominator. And my numerator is root 2 minus 1 whole square. Now root 2 minus 1 whole square is 2 plus 1 minus 2 root 2 divided by 2. So my final answer here becomes 3 minus 2 root 2 divided by 2, which is going to be option number A. So yeah, relatively difficult question, but yeah, if you're comfortable with geometry, circles inside the squares and another circle, I think this becomes a very standard model. You would have seen a similar question in the class also, right? So I would not consider this to be done, because as you saw, it's taking a bit of time, but yeah, in case you're able to manage time, it's worth a question to be attempted, right? So let's look at the next question, guys. Now, again, another question of profit and loss, which was not very difficult also, guys. I think this was, again, one more opportunity for us to, score and convert this question. So I think this is the sixth question of the paper. And out of these six, I would say you can leave the question on that mean and maybe the geometry. So four, at least three out of these six should have been converted. So please ensure that you are doing an analysis properly here, that why have you not picked the remaining three, that circular track question, the weights wala question, this question, and in fact the first integer solutions wala question. So I think four questions should have been picked here. So just be a little careful. There's a seventh question, in fact. So 4 out of 7 should have been picked by now. So the ratio of profit of an article to the discount offered is 5:3. So fair enough. Let's write profit is equal to 5x and discount is equal to 3x. Right. So CP of an article is increased by 10%. So let me assume that CP of the article, let's say, is 100 rupees. Not important because the question is asking you profit percentage. So the variable will get cancelled. By now, you should start getting into these parts that, is the variable getting cancelled. If yes, then we will be, accordingly assuming the variables. So what am I looking at in the whole process? If CP is equal to 100, I know profit is equal to 5x. So SP will be equal to 100 plus 5x. And I know discount is equal to 3x. So I'm taking the mark price will be 100 plus 8x. So this completes my equation. 100 plus 8x minus 3x will give you 100 plus 5x. And 5x is the profit. So 100 is your CP. Right now, the question says the cost price of the article is increasing by 10%. That is 110. Nothing else changes as per the question. So this is still 100 plus 5x. This is still 3x and this is still 100 plus 8x. So what has happened here? If you look at the profit this time is selling price minus cost price. So the profit is going to be 5x minus 10. So earlier my profit was 5x. Now my profit is 5x minus 10. So can I say the profit decreased by 10 rupees? Right, and as per the question, the profit decreased by 38%. So 38% of what? 38% of the old profit. So if I simplify this, 5 ones and 5 twos, 2 ones and 2 19. So therefore, the value of x that you get is equal to 100 by 90. Fair enough, not a problem at all. Now the question says, what will be the profit percentage when the mark price of the article is increasing by 20%, keeping the increased value of CP 110. And the discount same. Discount is 3x. Mark price increases by 20%. That becomes 1.2 into 100 plus 8x. So revised number game would be 100x plus 9.6x. There is a discount of 3x. That means 120 plus 6.6x should be your selling price. Now we can replace the value of x in calculator. I think for this question, you will need calculator for sure. So let me also take out the calculator and calculate it. So what is my 120? So 6.6 into 100 divided by 19. That is 34.736. What is the profit? Selling price minus cost price. So profit is going to be 10 plus 6.6x. So 34.473 plus 10 is 44.473 divided by cost price into 100. So this will give you 44.736 divided by 110 into 100. So divided by 110 into 100 is giving you 40.669. Okay. So that becomes 40.67 and therefore option A. So not a difficult question, but yeah, multiple layered question. As I told you, there should be a fourth question of the paper. You should not have missed out on the fourth question of the paper. Right. Moving to the next question, guys. Now, again, a very interesting question on Venn diagrams. It says all 130 persons were selected for at least one place of Ludhiana, Jalandhar, and Chandigarh. At least one gives me the liberty to make Venn diagrams. I have Ludhiana, I have Jalandhar, and I have Chandigarh. None of 31 persons went for training to both Ludhiana and Chandigarh. When I said Ludhiana and Chandigarh both, you need to understand this is also 0 and this is also 0 because this complete part represents Ludhiana and Chandigarh. So beautiful part, 2 values become 0. There were 41 persons who went to both Jalandhar and Chandigarh. So if this is 0, this will be 41. So let me write this as A, B, C, and D. So what do we have here, guys? We have A plus B plus C plus D plus 41 is equal to 130. Or we have A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 80. Right now, the question is asking you what is the maximum number of people who went to Chandigarh? I want to maximize this. Okay. If the number of persons who went for exactly one place is more than, clear, is more than the number of people who went to exactly more than one place. Right. So if I'm looking at it that way, I also have one more condition with me that A plus B plus C is greater than d plus 80 or d plus 41. Not a problem at all, right? So if I look at it that way, there's no other condition given, right? Or the maximum is going to generate if the number of people who went for exactly one place was more than the number of people who went for exactly two places. And I want to maximize A. So what can be the value of D? The value of D can be is 0. No problem. The value of D can be 0. So similarly, what we can do here is, so if I'm looking at this way, I know that the value of D can be 0. If I'm taking the value of D is 0, okay, then please understand, I need to take the value of A is equal to 1, else nobody will be going to Ludhiana at all, right? Similarly, I'll have to take the value of B is also equal to 1 here, right? So if I take the value of A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 1, so the maximum value of C from the options becomes is 87, but I'm slightly, this is what the solution has given you, but I'm slightly disagreeing to it. Right. So the reason I'm disagreeing to it is the question they did not tell us that A, B, or C should be greater than or equal to 0. That this question says that 130 people are going there, right? If 130 people are going there, according to me, A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 89. I can always have A is equal to 0, I can always have B is equal to 0, and I can also always have D is equal to 0. Because nothing has been mentioned in the question, guys. So according to me, the answer should be none of these, but the solutions has given you as 87, right? Because you see the questions, the 130 people went to at least one of these three places, no problem. Then I'm talking about, yeah, the only thing that would be in contention is if you're taking B is equal to 0, I might keep A is equal to 1. In that case, nobody is going to Ludhiana. If nobody is going to Ludhiana, then why is Ludhiana mentioned? Is what my thought process is. So according to me, the answer should be 88 and not 89, right? Because C, I know that somebody is definitely going to Jalandhar and Chandigarh for sure. So I think 88 should be the answer, but I don't know why it has a examiner assumed it as 87. But yeah, I think if even if it's going wrong, it's completely fine. Easy question. I think we'll have to just check with the examiner once again what has gone wrong in this question. Okay, so let's move forward. So cube of maximum volume, each corner touching the surface from inside is cut from a sphere. When you're cutting a cube from a sphere, you need to understand that the diagonal of the cube will become equal to the diameter of the sphere. That is what we are looking at. Okay, guys, so the diameter of the cube is what we are looking at as the radius of the sphere, right? So we can always go ahead with this. The diagonal of the cube is going to be what? Root 2a, sorry, root 3a. So root 3 is the diagonal of the cube and the diameter of the sphere, or which is equal to 2r. Right? So if root 3 is equal to r, the value of A is equal to 2r by root 3. Now the question asks me to find the ratio of the volumes. Now the ratio of the volumes is A cube here. A cube will give you 8r cube by 3 root 3. And the volume of the sphere is 4 by 3 into pi into r cube. Right? So r cube is just written as r cube only. So r cube gets cancelled, 3 gets cancelled, 4 ones are 4 twos are gets cancelled. Your answer becomes 2 into 2 is to root 3 pi. Clear? So I'm looking at 2 is to root 3 pi. We do not have an option there. So if I rationalize also that becomes 2 root 3 by, so okay, let's rationalize the denominator. So if I'm rationalizing between 2 root 3 into root 3, so this becomes, or the other way around is 2 root 3 by 3 pi. Do I have 2 root 3 by 3 pi? No, even I do not have that option. So therefore my answer here becomes none of these. Clear, guys? So let's move to the next question here. Now, this is also a very interesting question. In the given triangle, M and P are the midpoints given to us. Okay. So let me change the color of the ink here. So M and P, CN intersect at O. Okay. And then what is the length of OQ is asked. Okay. So if I look at it this way, midpoint. So first of all, O is the intersection of two medians. So I can say that O is the centroid. Point number one. Clear? So if O is the centroid, so we can say that CO is equal to 2 by 3 of CN. Clear? And CO is also nothing but CQ plus OQ. Clear, guys? This is what we have definitely. Now the next part that we have here in the whole question, if we are looking at it that way, okay, so we want the value of OQ here, not a problem at all. The length of CQ is given to us as 4 units. So we have to use the length of CQ somewhere. Okay. So one way that I can see here is CN is something. Okay, let's see. So the other way around that we can see is if I am looking at a triangle, I'm drawing this triangle like this, C, A, and this part is N. Okay. C, A, and N. And we know that I have dropped MN is perpendicular. Okay. Because the line is joining the midpoint of two sides of a triangle. This is 90, this is 90. Clear? And this part is Q. Okay. If this part is Q, and I know that this part is 4. Sorry, CQ is 4, right? So CQ is on this part is Q. So first of all, if these two are midpoints, then the ratio is this is 1:1. So this ratio will also be 1:1. Clear? So if this part is equal to 4, then Qn. So Qn will also be equal to. Clear, guys? Right? And if Qn is equal to 4, that means that part becomes 8. Okay? If that part is 8, and do we have something on the AC side? Okay, we do not have anything on the AC side. But can I conclude that this angle is going to be a 45 degrees angle? 45? No, we do not know the angle of that as well. Right? Okay, fair enough. We'll come back to it. So what am I further looking at, guys? So if I'm looking at it this way, this is 4 and this is also 4. Okay, so if I look at it this way, this value is 4. And let me assume OQ is equal to X. Okay, OQ is equal to X. That means I can say that CO is equal to 4 plus X. Okay, and I know that CO by ON will be in the ratio of 2:1 because that centroid divides the median into parts of 2:1 from the vertex. Okay. So therefore, if I look at ON, so I know the value of ON will be equal to 4 plus X divided by. Clear? So I have all the values here. So this is X plus 4 by 2. I have X and X plus and 4 here. So I can write this as X plus 4 by 2 plus X plus 4. Now this should give you the value of Cn, and the value of Cn is going to be 8 here. Clear? Because this is what we got as the value of Cn, that to be 8. So this becomes again 2x by 2. So 2x plus x, this becomes 3x plus 4, and this is again into 2 by 2. So 2x, 3x plus 12 is equal to 16 or we get 3x is equal to 4, or we get the value of x as 4 by 3, and therefore this becomes our answer. Option B. So yeah, slightly difficult question, and that's the reason I say when it comes to geometry, you have to be a little careful in answering the questions. Now, very easy question on time and work. A takes thrice as much time as B to complete the work. Okay. B and C together take 1/4 of the time taken by C to complete the work. Okay, let's see. So if A takes thrice as much as B, if I'm given the ratio of time taken as 3:1, can I say ratio of efficiencies will be 1:3? So I'm not talking about N, instead I'm talking about R. This is 1:3. Now B and C together take, so the time taken by B plus C together is 1/4 of what A takes alone. So again, if time taken is this, then the efficiency becomes 4:1. So A is already 1, which means B plus C should be equal to 4. So C also I'm giving it as 1. This is time efficiency. This is time ratio and efficiency ratio. Similarly, time ratio and efficiency ratio. Right. Moreover, in order to finish the job, A takes 5 days more than the number of days taken by all the three of them together. Now, this becomes a pretty easy job from here. A plus B plus C. Let's say this is 5 and this is X. So A takes 5 days more than this. So my total work from A's point of view is X plus 5. My total work from their point of view is 5x. If x plus 5 is equal to 5x, we have 4x is equal to 5, or we have x is equal to 5 by 4. Okay. Right. Now, in how many days will C alone take to finish the job? Clear? So C will take 5x days only because my total work is 5x. So if C will take 5x days, my answer becomes 5 into 5 by 4, and which is going to be 25 by 4, which is option B. A very easy question that you should have definitely converted. Should not have taken more than a minute, guys. Clear? Again, a very standard question on pipes and cisterns based on geometry. So water flows at a speed of 30 kilometers an hour with an inner radius of 1.5 into a tank of this much, and how much time will the water raise by 4 meters? That means I want the volume of water to be 100 into 150 is the length into width, and height to be raised by 4 meters. Clear? Right. Now the speed in meters per second is 30 into 5 by 18 into pi r square, right? Into pi into r square, that is 1.5 into 1.5 should be the time taken to fill the tank. I did something like this, okay? Time taken, that is per number of minutes, right? Now each minute, how much is it going? Each minute, this much part is going. So that is 30 into, or let's say each second, okay? Meters per second, right? So each second, these many meters are going, and there is a radius also involved, and there is a cross section also involved. So this is the amount of water going each second, and this should be your total time. This is the total volume, which is equal to the volume of the tank. Now, I guess if we solve this, I think the answer here is going to be 17 here. You can use your calculator and complete, or you can simplify 150 here. And this 18 goes on the top. So I'm cancelling this. 18 goes on the top, and 15 cut 10, another 10 goes on the top. So this is 5 threes are 5 threes are 5 twos are 5 twos are, and this is 9 ones and 9 twos. Clear? So you have 100, and this is 4 into 4 is 16. 16 into 2 is 32. That becomes 3200 into 7 by 22. Clear? These many seconds, and then again we divided by 60 will give you the number of minutes in which we are looking at. Clear? So that becomes your answer in this case. So if you want, we can just calculate for a bit. So that's 3200 into 7 divided by 60 divided by 22. Yeah, 16.96, which means 17 should be your answer. Clear, guys? Now, this is a question that I would leave. I would ask Deepak to discuss with you in the class, because there is an area where I have a bit of discrepancy, so I'm yet to discuss with him. But yeah, I think you should be, see, the ideal logic is simple, that if I want the area of the shaded portion or the common region, it is 2 into pi r theta. Clear? But yeah, I would like Deepak to explain you in the class, so don't worry about it. We can leave it as of now. Now, this is a question which I feel was not required in the paper. So I would really advise you not to fall a trap for it. Very weird question. So I think, honestly, I would not put my time to it. So let's look at this question here. Now, what does this question talk about? This question is again a very easy question. So A is equal to B. Similarly, I have B is equal to C square. I have C is equal to D square. I have D is equal to E square. And I have E is equal to A square. Clear? So I replace it here. E is equal to A square. Okay. If I replace E is equal to A square, then I get D is equal to A to the power 4. And if I replace D is equal to A to the power 4 here, then I get C is equal to A to the power 8. Again, if I replace it here, then I get B is equal to A to the power 16. And if A is equal to B, that means I want A to the power 16 is equal to A. If A to the power 16 is equal to A, there are only two possible values of A. A can be either 0 or B can be, or A can be 1. Now, what if A is 0? If A is 0, all the values become 0. If A is 0, then you need to understand that B is equal to C is equal to D is equal to E, which is equal to 0. If that is happening, then this case gets violated. A plus B is not equal to B. Now, just because I'm given that A plus B is not equal to E, we need to understand that A cannot be equal to 0. So the only option that we have is A is equal to 1. If A is equal to 1, then B is equal to 1, C is equal to 1, D is equal to 1, and E is also equal to 1. So what is the final value? 1 plus half plus half. So your final value here becomes 2, which is a very simple question. You go backwards, you start replacing, and you get your final answer there. So must convert question in the examination. Right, again, a very lovely question. A set contains 15 numbers having an average is equal to 20. So that is 15 into 20 is equal to sum total. The average of first 7 numbers is 21. So let's go ahead on these lines: A plus B plus C plus D plus E. So if you understand it, I need not write this, okay? We have 15 numbers, E plus F plus G. So you're looking at these are my first 7. The 8th guy will be left out. I, J, K, L, M, and N. And O. So these are my last 7. So I'm told first 7 is 7 into 21 and the last 7 is 7 into 19. Clear? So if I subtract 7 into, so if I add these two and plus H, so what do I have here? This is 7 into 40 plus H is what I have. And as per the question, that should be equal to how much, guys? 300. So I would get the value of H is equal to 20. That is the 8th term, okay? Now the average of 6th, 7th, and 8th number is 24. That means F plus G plus H is equal to 24 into 3, that is 72, which means I get F plus G is equal to how much, guys? 52. Now the 7th number of the set is 3 less than the average of these two. So the average of these two is equal to how much, guys? 26. So I repeat, 6th number plus 7th number is equal to 52. The 7th number is 3 less than the average, that is 23. So what is the sum of first 6 numbers? Okay. So the sum of first 6 numbers, if I subtract G from here, my answer becomes easy. So that is 21 into 7, that is 147 minus 23. So your final answer here is going to be 124 should be your final answer, and that should be the sum of first 6 numbers. I repeat, the sum of first 7 minus the 7th number will give you the sum of first 6 numbers. So not very difficult question, very easy question. In fact, you should have saved the time in this question and you should have got your answer here. Clear, guys? Now let's look at this question. Again, I have, yeah, we'll come back to that question later. So let's look at this question. So two types of lemonade, X and Y, were mixed in proportions 1:4 by volume. Okay. So you have lemonade X, you have lemonade Y. Each of them has syrup and water. Again, you have syrup and water. So they are mixed in the ratio of 1:4. So let's take K liters from here. Okay, we'll come back to it. The resulting had 60%. If lemonade X had 50% of this and 50% of this. So let's say this is 50% given to me and 50% given to us. Right. So what we can do is 1:4 by volume and 50% is given, right? So what I did practically is X. I'm talking about syrup and water. Is tripled by adding only lemonade X. Okay. So what did I do is I took 2 liters of this and 8 liters of this. Okay. Because 1:4, no? Unless it's syrup and water. Sorry. So 2 liters, 50%, 50%, that is 1. Okay. Now, this is tripled. That means I've added to the total. I have used how much, guys? I've used total of 10 liters. So I've tripled this. That means I've added 20 liters of only X. If I've used 20 liters of only X, I'm using 10 here and I'm using 10 here because 50% each. So I repeat, this becomes 11 and this becomes 11. Okay. And I know only one thing, that S plus W, the quantity that's coming up, is equal to 8 is what I know. Okay. Now it says that the resulting mixture had 60% water. So total resulting mixture had how many liters, guys? 30 liters. If 30 liters had 60% water, that means total water should be 18 liters. Out of that, 11 is coming from X. So can I say 7 is coming from this? If 7 is coming from this will be 1, and this makes your job pretty easy. 1 and 7. So you can see 22 plus 8 is equal to 30, and this is your final statistics. Now the question says, then the percentage of water in lemonade Y. Percentage of water in lemonade Y is 7 by 8 into 100. That is equal to 87.50%. The question is asking you add up to 2 decimal places. So therefore your answer here becomes 87.5%. Clear, guys? So let's look at one more question. Man can complete a piece of work in 30 days. So let me assume that, okay, if he's increasing the efficiency by 25%. So what I rather did is I assume the efficiency as 4. And I know that the man can complete the work in 30 days. So my total work becomes 120. He worked for 10 into 4, that is 40 is done. After this, he increases efficiency to 5. I do not know how many days. And now the total work is done. So we get 5x is equal to 80, or we get the value of x is equal to 16. So 16 plus 10. So the total number of days taken here becomes 26. And earlier the planned scheduled completion was 30. So therefore, how many days before the scheduled completion? 4 days before the scheduled completion, the work was over. Very easy question. You should have definitely converted this case. Probability, as of now, I'm leaving this, but it's a very easy question. If you know probability, you have 5 balls, blue, red, pink, yellow, and green, and I have to arrange in 5 steps. So 5 things in 5 places can be arranged in 120 ways. Right? Now the question says that these balls are to be arranged randomly, and what is the probability that the ball on the first step and second steps are colored pink and yellow respectively? Clear? So if I want pink and yellow in the first and second from the top, let me freeze pink and yellow. That means, can I say in the remaining 3 places, I have to arrange B, R, and G. So 3 things in 3 places will be how many ways, guys? 3 factorial into 1. So this will be my ideal case. Clear? So total favorable outcomes are 6. Total number of outcomes is 120. 6 by 120 gives you a total of 1 by 20, and that becomes your answer. So not a difficult question if you know probability. If not, you can leave this, not a problem at all. Clear? We have seen this question directly in the class. If your divisor is a prime number, n minus 1 factorial or p minus 1 factorial divided by p, the remainder is either minus 1 or p. And p minus 2 factorial divided by p, the remainder is always going to be 1. We have discussed this in the class. This is directly coming from a concept of remainder theorem, and therefore the answer should be 1. So batches 1 to 5, you should not have skipped this question. Immediately your answer should have been 1, and we have seen the same question in the class, that is 95 factorial divided by 97, and 97 is a prime number. Okay, guys, so let's look at this question. Yep. Let's look at this question, guys. So it says that the content of beakers A and B are 80 cm cube of sugar and 80 cm cube of sand, respectively. Okay. So sounds a mixture based question. So content A had sugar, 80 cm cube, and content B has sand. That is 80 cm cube, right? Now it says that 20 cm cube of sugar is taken out from A and put into B. Okay. So I'm taking out 20 from here and this will have sugar now. So this has 20 of sugar and 20 of sugar. So this has 20 and 80, which means sugar and sand are in the ratio of 1:4. And this has only 60. Now, after thorough mixing of 20 centimeter cube of the mixture is taken out from B and replaced to A. Now, 1:4 in the ratio and 20 kgs. That means I'm looking at 4 kgs from here and 16 kgs from here are gone. Clear? So this is sand. So if you observe, this is going to be 64 of sugar, 16 of sand, and this is 16 of sugar and 64 of sand. Find the percentage of sand in the beaker A. So percentage of sand in the beaker A becomes 16 by 80 into 100. That is 1 by 5. 1 by 5 will be nothing but 20%. So again, a very easy question, guys. So should have been converted very easily. As I told you, in the end, there are very easy questions that you should have definitely seen. So the 2100 students, each of them are either graduates or postgraduates. So 2100 are in the form of graduates and postgraduates. The number of graduate males is same as the number of postgraduate males. Okay. So let's say this is 100x and let's say this is 100y. So we know that x plus y is equal to 21 because 100x plus 100y is equal to 2100. Okay. Yeah. Now 70% of the graduates and 30% of postgraduates are males. 70% of graduates become 70x is equal to 30% of postgraduates is 30y, or we get x by y as 3 by 7. Clear? So now the question is asking you that find the number of females in the university. So let's say 3k and 7k. Okay, or if you want, we can directly replace it here. So they are in the ratio of 3:7. So what are the total number of males? 3 by 10 of 2100. If you want, you can note this directly here. So total number of graduates are 630, and total number of postgraduates are 70 and 1470. Right? And now I'm told that 70% of graduates are males. That means 30% of this graduates are females. So 00 gets cancelled. 3 3s are 9 and 3 6 are 18. Similarly, 30% of this are males, so 70% are females. 7 7s are 49, 9 I carry 4, 7 4s are 28 plus 4 is 32, 2 I carry 3, and this is 1029. Right, so my total number of females will be 1029 plus 189. So this is 8 carried here. So this becomes 1218 becomes your final answer. And that should be your final conclusion there. Clear, guys? So this is about this question. Again, a very easy question on percentages. You should have definitely seen and converted this in the thing altogether. Right? So Dinky attends a class at an academy every day at 5 p.m. and reaches on time. Very easy question of speed, time, and distance. If she drives at a speed of 20 kilometers an hour, she is late by 10 minutes. Okay. Oh, sorry. She's on time. So she's late by 10 minutes if it's driving at 15 kilometers per hour. So 20 kilometers per hour, let's say usual time is t minutes divided by 60 is equal to 15 kilometers an hour. Time taken is t plus 10 minutes divided by 60. So we cancel this. This is 5 4s are, this is 5 3s are. So we have 4t is equal to 3t plus 30, or we have the value of t is equal to 30. So the usual time to reach office is going to be 30 minutes. So today Dinky covered 3/5 of the distance in 2/5 of her usual time. So what is the distance covered, guys? That is 20 into half. 10 is the distance. Now Dinky covered 6 kilometers in how much time, guys? 2/5 of the usual time. 5 ones are 5 6 that is 12 minutes. Yeah, sorry. And then she stopped for 10 minutes while going. So by road. So 22 minutes are done. Okay. Now, the speed at which she is to drive the remaining distance, that is 4 kilometers, she needs to drive in how many minutes, guys? 8 minutes. So 4 kilometers by 8 minutes will be the speed, and in terms of kilometers per hour, right? Kilometers by minutes. So therefore, by hour should be divided by 60. 4 ones are 4 twos are 2 ones are 2 30s are. So the answer here becomes 30 kmph. Again, a very easy question. You should have definitely converted this. So this is a question on series, guys. As of now, I would advise you to leave once the series chapter is done. At that time, we'll be doing this chapter, this question. Now, this is a very, very, very interesting question of the paper. I think the last question of the paper. I do not know how many of you were able to solve, but a beautiful question here. So I know that y is greater than x and x is greater than z. Clear? So I can say z is the smallest, x is the second smallest, and y is the largest. Okay. The difference between the greatest and the second greatest two-digit numbers. So now you need to understand z is the smallest. So there are 6 two-digit numbers that can be formed. Let's say zx will be the smallest. Zy will be the second smallest. Then you will have xy will be the next smallest. Then I'll go with y z will be the next smallest value. Or wait, we can also look at xz first. In fact, the next number will become xz. And then you will have starting with y. Okay. So you'll have yz will be the next smallest and yx will be the largest. These are 6 numbers we can get. Okay. When we are arranging these into the order. So I repeat, this will be the largest, this will be the second largest, this will be the third largest, fourth largest, fifth largest, and sixth largest. The difference between the greatest and the second greatest two-digit numbers. So I'm talking about 10y plus x will be largest, minus 10y plus z is equal to 5. So eventually what do we have? We have x minus z is equal to 5. The difference between smallest and the second smallest. So second smallest becomes 10z plus y, minus you have 10z plus x is equal to 2, or we have y minus x is equal to 2. Clear? And now the question says that the sum of the two smaller digits, that is x plus y, sorry, z plus y, is equal to 1 less than the greatest, sorry, z plus x is equal to 1 less than the greatest digit. Clear? So from here I can say y is equal to 2 plus x. So let's replace here z plus x is equal to 2 plus x minus 1. So plus x gets cancelled. So you get the value of z is equal to 1. If I get the value of z is equal to 1, then it means the value of x is equal to 6, because 6 minus 1 is equal to 5. And if value of x is equal to 6 and the value of y is equal to 8, therefore the value of y will be 8, which is option B. So this is where we are seeing that, the paper was not very difficult also. It gave you enough scope to answer the questions. So I think anywhere around a 35 to 40 plus score becomes a very promising score in this paper. Right? So please go back to the analysis. Please see where did you go wrong. Please see that, how could you rectify your mistakes? And please also look at the easier methods of solving it, guys. I hope your performance keeps improving. And till then, thank you, guys. All the best.